In Nigeria, lawmakers often embark on constituency projects as a means to develop local communities. As an emerging economy, human capital and critical infrastructural development needs are pressing. Yet, the mismanagement of the so-called constituency project funds has quietly evolved into a major crisis in the country. Constituency projects, intended to address the unique needs of local communities and promote development, are often plagued by misappropriation. In some cases, the intended beneficiaries of constituency projects do not feel the impact.
Sunana Fatima Garba. Yanayin labarin na tashi to muna nan gwarun fa. Sai muka zo muka fara doya da kosai. To muna yin haka to sai aka zo aka fara aikin filin. Sai leburori sun zo sai na fara yin abinci. Ina yin abinci kuma hakan nan sai aka zo aka gama aiki sai na tashi. Sai na komo nan kuma. Ina komawa nan Kado nan kuma na zo na zauna ina dan yin dafa shinkafa da dan tuwo kadan ina kawowa.
Citizens such as Fatima do not even know their elected representatives, talk more of holding them accountable.
Dai wanda aka sa din ne dai na kwanan nan shi ma bai sani ba. Yawa ga Adamu ne zai sani.
Fẹ́ bèrè ṣé ti jàǹfààní ìjọba kankan rí.
Jàǹfààní ìjọba kankan rí.
Okay, tí wọ́n fẹ́ bèrè ṣé mọ àwọn sẹ́nétọ̀ tó ṣojú yín ní Ìlọrin tó wá láti Ìlọrin tó ṣojú yín ní ilé ìgbìmọ̀ aṣòfin.
Mi ò mọ̀ wá omi ní purọ́ fún mi ò mọ̀ wá omi ní purọ́.
For some women like Enito Okeshola, they only feel the impact of government during the campaign season of an election cycle.
Wọ́n bí mi sí Òkèléwó. Ọ̀rẹ́ àgbà tó bí mi gan, dádì mi tẹ̀ fẹ́ gbà mí rárá. Oníkan nọ́ọ̀sì yẹn pa mí nítorí ọwọ́ tí mo gbé wáyé. Mọ̀mọ́ mi ò gbà ọ́. Mọ́mí mi gbé mi sáńgbà yẹn. Pé láéláé ọmọ tó wọ̀n bí àwọn ò lè pa. Kódà ìjọ kò wọ́n gan ọ̀dúró rọ́dẹ ni wọ́n. Wọ́n kọ́ gbé ìbọn ọkọ̀ lọ sí ọ̀dẹ́ tí wọ́n pé kò sí tó kọ́ wọn pé àwọn òṣèkò mọ alápá kan. Later then mo lọ sí school. Wọ́n fi mi sí school. Mo lọ primary school. Mo lọ JS3 secondary school. Lẹ́yìn yẹn ni mo bí ọmọ mi obìnrin àkọ́kọ́. Later then mo tún padà lọ sí secondary school. Pé mo ṣàfẹ́ further school. Títí mo yẹ ṣe SS2 ṣàmùtú lóyún ìkejì ni mi ṣe lọ mọ́. Oríṣiríṣi iṣẹ́ dẹ̀ ni mo ṣe pé kí tẹ̀lé máa fi survive. Títí di ìsìn.
Ẹ tó represent yín ní National Assembly ládùúgbò yìí. Bí senator tó represent àdúgbò yìí ẹ mọ̀ rí.
Mi ò mọ̀.
Ṣé ẹ ti rí nǹkan ṣé ìjọba ti ṣe nǹkan fún yín rí?
Ìjọba èyí tí wọ́n ṣe fún mi ni ìgbà tó ní káwa handicap báyìí. Àwọn tí ó jẹ́ pé kò sí agbára fún wọn, àwọn tẹ́sẹ̀ ń dùn tójú ń dùn tájọ ṣe meeting. So wọ́n ní kí n send account number wọ́n dẹ̀ fún mi ní 25,000 látọ̀dọ̀ ìjọba. Ọdún yẹn á ti pẹ́ sí bí ọdún 4 sí 5 sẹ́yìn.
These projects, which should empower and uplift citizens, have seen an increasing number of lawmakers, contractors, ministries, departments, and agency MDAs implicated in the diversion or misallocation of funds, instead of contributing to the public good. Senate spokesperson Femi Adaramolu dismissed allegations of misappropriation of funds.
You cannot mismanage what you don't procure. Can you? When money is not given to you, money is not placed in your palms. How can you mismanage it? Is it a sin? Is it mismanagement when you nominate projects and programs and say my constituency needs a borehole and you now nominate it, and now a ministry comes there to procure a borehole? Are you the one that nominated it, that is the sinner, or maybe the MDA that has refused to do what it's supposed to do, if it happens, if there's any.
True to the spokesperson word, in the 2025 approved budget, National Assembly increased the capital expenditure for MDAs by 6.98 trillion naira. Significantly, they also reduced the allocation for tertiary education fund by 566 billion naira. The key focus on capital expenditure is important because this money was either used for new projects or to boost existing projects. Some of the proposed projects include construction and equipping of 700 capacity ICT center in Zokwa, Kaduna South Senatorial District, grants for youth and women community-based cooperative societies through Microfinance Bank in Bayelsa West Senatorial District, scholarships and educational grants in Bayelsa West Senatorial District. However benevolent the Senate's intentions may be, civil advocates question the legitimacy of this allocation.
First and foremost, constituency project is not part of the legislative mandate. It is not constitutional. It is actually an issue that was introduced by Obasanjo administration in order to probably gain support of the legislators. So it is not listed as part of their mandate, and this also comes with a lot of challenges because there's no legal frameworks on how to manage or how to ensure accountability in the constituency project implementation. That has created a lot of integrity deficit. ICPC, EFCC have been arresting members, making them to return money that they have taken in the name of constituency project that they never executed those projects, or the project was halfway done.
Anything that concerns the legislators are always hyped because Nigerians think there must always be a fourth guy for Nigerian democracy, and the fourth guy for Nigerian democracy is the legislation. ICPC will not be asking the question from us. They'll be asking the question from the MDA or the contractor that have handled those jobs, not from legislators.
For example, maybe you track a project that maybe a National Assembly member domicile in an agency, and you had issue with such project. When you are trying to invite, they will want to try to wield their power that, okay, you can't invite me, but the ICPC, there's nobody that can stop us that we shouldn't do what the law allows us to do. When they are trying to do that, we are also trying to say you have to come back and come and do remediation. So there's nothing good that you will do that some people will not want to resist. When they are resisting, we are moving on.
But for some Nigerians, they have more pressing needs other than constituency projects.
When the masses are hungry, there is no need of constituency project for now. Do you get the point? When the youth, when the children, when your citizens are hungry, give them food first before you divert to constituency, whatever they are, because they must chop money from there. But we are hungry first. There's no need of beating around the bush. We are hungry, period. Nigerians are hungry.
We pray that Nigeria will be like Nigeria of how Europe, Canada, other countries see Nigeria, because the workability and our senators and the rep member, Green and Red Chamber, to do their normal duty. I think they always believe in their money sharing and all that. So none of them is working towards bringing a lasting solution to the hunger in Nigeria, because there's too much hunger in Nigeria, I must have to tell you.
But do the intended beneficiaries see the value of these projects?
Sunana Awal Sarki.
Daga wani gari ka zo?
Na zo daga Kano ne. Na kasance yaro mai neman nasa. A harkar rayuwa yanzu in mutum baya neman nasa zai zama abin tausayi. Ni ban tsaya ina barace ba saboda shugabannin mun kabe ta su gaba ɗaya a hankula. Isa kawai na ce zan dan shigo yar waje nan Abuja na dan nemi nawa. Shine kuma na zo har na dan samu keke ma nake tukawa aiki na kenan. Akalla dai yanzu dai zan shekara wajen 10 ina fama da wannan harka. Sanadin mu dai yanzu na kai kawu Sumaila ne. Shine sanadin mu. Gaskiya ba abin da na taba samu. Ni Muhammad ni gaskiya ba abin da aka taba bani.
Sunana Ibrahim. Daga Katsina. Gaskiya nan ban ma bukatar in san su. Saboda ni mai bani shi nake so. Duk wanda yake da dukiya ba zai so talaka ya samu abin da yake wannan ba na gaskiya ba dai siyasar da aka yi wannan shinkafa da aka kawo da taliya a rarraba amma mu gidanmu ma da yake mu yan shi'a ne mu babanmu bai bari mu je mu ansa yawwa.
The Nigerian Constitution does not explicitly mention constituency projects. However, the concept of constituency projects often falls under the broader context of the responsibilities and powers of members of the National Assembly, particularly in relation to their role in representing their constituencies. Section 4, Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999, which deals with the power of the National Assembly, could be considered relevant to the concept of constituency projects as it outlines the legislative duties of lawmakers. These duties include representing the interests of the constituencies, which may involve initiating or supporting specific projects for their constituents. However, activists contend that many senators have been involved in diverting funds for personal gain, raising serious concerns about the integrity of the process.
Their work is to legislate, make laws for the well-being, and prosperity of the citizens of Nigeria, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Their job is not to go and be hustling at ministries, departments and agencies like they currently do. They will first put a project in the budget, then they will now go and be lobbying for the project, and many of them don't even do these projects. These projects that they insert in their budget, and this is why many people, even including senators and House of members, have accused their colleagues of budget padding and leadership of budget padding. Because how do you explain it that a senator will now say, oh, in my constituency, I want billions of projects in my constituency. And there is no methodology or systems in place to track those projects. And that's why the anti-corruption agencies like EFCC, ICPC, they must be alive to the responsibility. This idea of telling citizens that citizens should go and track their projects. Why are we paying taxpayers' money to investigate? Thousands of investigators in the EFCC, the ICPC, it is their job to track every line item on the budget to make sure that once money has been disbursed, that the money has been executed for the project for which it was meant. So it is their job. This idea of passing the buck to citizens that, oh, citizens, go and help us track the project. No. It is the responsibility of security agencies to make sure that our lawmakers and politicians and civil servants are not stealing from the people.
One of the challenges in addressing this issue is the widespread lack of awareness among Nigerians about the specific responsibilities of their senators. Many citizens remained uninformed about how their representatives should advocate for their interests in the Red Chamber. further complicating efforts to hold elected officials accountable.
2024 Appropriation Act to authorize the issue from the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation of the sum of 3,200 billion only for capital expenditure and the sum of 3 trillion only.
The Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, has voiced concerns over public officials reluctant to be held accountable for financial mismanagement. Nonetheless, they have assured Nigerians that their investigations into government spending will continue.
The major challenge for us demanding accountability is people's attitude not to like to be held accountable. The contractors and even the facilitators of constituency project are now very circumspect. They know that somebody can come knocking, and we wait until there are releases. Funds have been released for such projects before we begin to track, because most of the time the tracking exercise takes place between October and December every year, so that we would have monitored that funds have been released to a certain extent for a particular project before we go knocking on the doors. Most of the time the contractors are the clients, because the project has been awarded. It will be there in the record. It's the contractor. If he had played whatever game with anybody, will be the one that will bring in the person. But most of the time, the contractors have always cooperated. And when the attention of whoever has been the facilitator of those projects when their attention are called to it, they have always cooperated. They do not have a choice than to cooperate, because it wasn't targeted at them. Something led to something that led to them, and you need to save your face.
Since the inception of constituency projects in Nigeria, their impact on the lives of ordinary Nigerians has been minimal. Despite the significant sums allocated to these projects, many have failed to deliver tangible benefits to the communities they were meant to serve.
Well, we Nigerians are not really getting any impact, and we wish that at least they can actually represent us wherever they are and stand up for us.
Allegations of budget padding, misappropriation, and fraudulent activities by senators have surfaced, with claims that lawmakers are enriching themselves at the expense of the public. From a political analyst perspective, the ongoing mismanagement of constituency project funds in Nigeria represents a systemic issue that undermines the effectiveness of governance and exacerbates public mistrust in elected officials.
The bane of underdevelopment in Nigeria is corruption. And another problem we have in this country is over-centralization of power at the center. That is why I'm so much happy about the issue of these local governments, independence, allocation. Now, I don't see a situation whereby the federal government has a business coming to build a primary healthcare in my constituency. When we are growing up in the 80s and the late 70s, when we are growing up, local governments were building roads. Local governments were building primary healthcare. But some years back, the local government just was completely a ghost secretariat. So if they don't work on projects, if they don't do it, it can never drive national development. And it brings up lack of trust on the people. You see a situation where money is budgeted. Meanwhile, you're in your hometown, your village, you'll be celebrating that money has budgeted. At the long run, you don't see anything on ground. So lack of implementation of constitution has caused so much underdevelopment in the country.
This disturbing trend not only undermines the integrity of Nigerians' democracy, but also leaves millions of citizens without the basic infrastructure and services they desperately need.